Godspeed, Anthony Bourdain. Welcome to Meaning Stream AZ5.
I've been free to do whatever I want. To make the shows I want, anywhere I want, with whom I want, in any style I want. So I, at first I don't know any other way, and by now I won't have it any other way. Life is good. Why settle for less? Be open to experience. Be willing to try new things. Don't have a rigid plan. Accept random acts of hospitality without judgment or fear. Don't be afraid to wander. Don't be afraid to eat a bad meal. You know, if you don't risk the bad meal, you'll never get the magical one. But I think most important, be humble, be grateful, 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 be humble, be grateful. Before I started traveling, I thought that the human race as a whole would turn on itself at any moment, you know, venal, petty, cruel, arbitrary, and it's true that all of those things exist in this world, but I meet mostly pretty nice people. Doing the best they can, often under very, very difficult conditions. I met a lot of very nice people who've done very, very bad things that conflict with my deeply held conceptions of justice, or sexual equality, or acceptable practice, or religious views. There are a lot of gray areas in travel. But I think that on balance, the world is filled with people doing the best they can, you know? Best they can, you know? Be humble, be grateful, 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 be humble, be grateful. I've been fired many times in my cooking career. I was not a particularly good chef. I had a lot of problems at various points of my career with narcotics. You know, I accepted failure as a chef because I was at various times a bad chef. Or even a bad person. These days, if I fail, it's because I tried to do something and did not succeed. Or I just was not able to do what I hoped to do or wanted to do. But I would much rather that. I would much rather fail gloriously than not try. So I'm not interested in telling stories with competence. I'm looking to tell them with some style and originality and some creativity.
Yeah, what's cracking, baby? How you doing? How you doing, baby? Godspeed, Anthony Bourdain. Godspeed, Anthony Bourdain, baby. Welcome to Meaning Stream number 85. Glad you're here. It's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak of recorded human civilization. Tonight we're going to do a very special set. Very special set to help you navigate this moment in time. You know, to see through to the other side and, you know, see the bigger picture. Or that. Before that, I'm going to play the new single. This came out on Friday.
Akira.
We just dropped the music video today. I made the music video today. You know, I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. Woke up this morning about 6 a.m. Put out the Listerine, head straight to the gym.
Akira.
Yo, man, trying to talk then and mix with my face at the same time.
He's got clout.
Yeah. Got up this morning at 6 a.m. Did the Meaningwave morning show on Twitch. You know, that was. What was that? Damn, that was a long time ago. That's what that was.
He's got
You know, then what happened? Then I had an interesting conversation with Trap Lord Ross, who's one of my favorite. It's pretty much the internet's premier rap historian. If you don't know Trap Lord Ross, I would definitely suggest checking out his channel
Akira.
on the YouTube.
He's got clout.
He's a powerful guy. Had a good chat with him. Then I had a real good chat with Captain Jack. You know, when I got a coffee, I ended up talking to Captain Jack for like an hour and a half. He's out there in New York. He was jealous that I could get a coffee. He still can't get a coffee.
He's got clout.
In New York, the coffee shops are all still shut down. Anyway, I had a good chat with him. Helped him regulate some vibes. He helped me regulate some vibes, you know. Then I came back to the crib and made a music video for this song.
Akira. He's got clout.
And it's mighty.
Yeah, my opinion is if somebody wants to stay home, they should stay home. And if somebody doesn't want to stay home, they should not be compelled to stay home. That's my opinion. If somebody doesn't like that, well, that's my opinion. This notion, though, that you can just sort of send checks out to everybody and things will be fine is not true, obviously. Some people have this absurd, view that the economy is like some magic horn of plenty.
Hornet Plenty!
It just makes stuff, whatever. There's a magic horn of plenty, and the goods and services, they just come from this magic horn of plenty. And then if somebody has more stuff than somebody else, it's because they took more from this magic horn of plenty. Now let me just break it to you, the fools out there. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff,
there is no stuff.
If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you don't make the food, you don't process the food, you don't transport the food, medical treatment,
Getting those teeth fixed.
There's no stuff. I will become detached from reality. You can't just legislate money and solve these things. If you don't make stuff,
guess what?
There is no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff.
Yeah. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah. Obviously.
We'll run out of the stores. We'll run out of the,
Guess what?
machine just blinds to us. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff.
Yo, just breaking it down for the fools out there. Breaking it down for the fools out there. You know, Akira the Don and Elon Musk. That dream team, baby, back together again, just when the world needed them most. To remind them that they better get doing some stuff. You know what I mean? You can't just break stuff. You mean you gotta make stuff. You can't just take stuff. You gotta make stuff, baby. You know, if that shit gets disproportionate and out of whack, well, shit, you know what happens. You know what happens, baby, and it ain't nothing nice. Ain't nothing nice, baby. Nicholas Lepage just points out very correctly. If you don't make Meaningwave, there is no Meaningwave. And that's true. If I don't make Meaningwave, there's no Meaningwave. That's why I'll be making Meaningwave all the time, baby. I'll be making Meaningwave all day and all night. Apart from when I'm doing this. Sometimes I sleep and I dream I'm making Meaningwave. Yeah, I do. Yo, happy birthday, Scott Adams. It's Scott Adams' birthday. Isn't that magical? I just sent him the album that I've made with his voice yesterday. That was like a lovely early birthday present for the boy Scott Adams. Who'd have knew? Who knew, huh? Who knew? Anyway, it's his birthday today. So I announced Akira the Don and Scott Adams, the album, the user interface for reality, June 26th. June 26th, baby. June 26th, you getting it, baby. Michael Tapia says, thanks for making sexy stuff. Hey, you welcome. What's up, baby? Nick Twaddle in the house. Happy birthday, Scott Adams, says Nick Twaddle. That's right. Happy birthday, Scott Adams. What a guy. What a guy. And yeah, Akira the Don and Scott Adams, the user interface for reality, the album dropping June 26th. You pair that with Naval, How to Get Rich. Ain't no stopping you, baby, because this album contains the keys, the buttons to the user interface for reality itself. Yes, it does. And if you take these things, if you apply them, just like with that Naval album, you will see yourself becoming very powerful. You'll see yourself becoming an architect of your own existence. Yeah, you will. How would you like that? Would you like to be an architect of your own existence? Hush, Stanley B. Let's play that intro. The introduction, the first track. It's called The Introduction to the User Interface. It's just like a warm-up, baby. Bum, 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 bum. Smash that like, spread that link, you know the vibes. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going in tonight with a very, very special set. A very powerful set designed to help you navigate this moment. See your way through, see your way to the other side, break on through to the other side.
Make it. Today will be, for some of you, the most incredible day of your life. Not everyone. Some of you will just get a little bit smarter. Others of you will find a transformational experience happening tonight. Yes, tonight you're going to find out the user interface for reality itself. The user interface for reality itself. So that you can author your own reality. The user interface for reality itself.
Hey.
Don't believe it?
Don't believe it?
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Yeah, you're curious. You're wondering, can I do it? Well, you're gonna find out. Well, you're gonna find out. So, it turns out that there are some stories that can't be told right away. There are some things that by their nature cannot be communicated. There are a number of reasons why some stories can't be told. Maybe there's a secret involved. Maybe somebody's being modest and they don't want to brag. Maybe there's a lack of credential. It might be a question of loyalty. You've promised you wouldn't tell somebody. You don't want to hurt somebody. It might be complicated. And so, just too hard to explain. This is important to know because you're going to wonder, why didn't I tell you where the user interface for reality was before? The user interface for reality itself. The user interface for reality itself. So that you can author your own reality.
Your own reality.
The user interface for reality itself. It's kind of a heck of a thing to hold out, isn't it? And the reason is, I couldn't tell you before. There needed to be a certain perfect situation. And that perfect situation happened today.
Today.
After 22 years, my plan came together. Today. Plan was that someday I wanted to be in a position to tell you the things that I'll tell you today that I couldn't tell you until now. The user interface for reality itself. The user interface for reality itself. So that you can author your own reality.
Your own reality.
The user interface for reality itself.
Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Akira the Don and Scott Adams. Just getting you ready for that user interface for reality itself. I know he said you're going to hear about it tonight, but you're going to have to wait till June 26th, baby. There'll be a single the week before. So it's just like 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks, a little bit more than 2 weeks you got to wait for the user interface for reality itself. The user interface for reality itself. So you can author your own reality. The user interface for reality itself. Yeah. Do you know what I would say about that? I would say
perfect.
Haha. How you're feeling out there, everybody? Do let me know. I want to know how you're feeling. I do. I want to know also, because we got to do... Hey, Michael. We got to do the international high five. So I want to know where you are, and if you could author your own reality, what would be the first thing you would write? If you could author, I need to know where you are, and if you really could author your own reality, and you can, but you know, if you really could, if you could do it right now, what would you write? What would be the first thing you would do to change your reality, to author that reality? What would you do, baby? Let me know. Shouts out to Rupert Spira. Your boy Rupert Spira has been dropping some serious fire. If you ain't following Rupert Spira on social media or YouTube, he has a great YouTube channel. He just drops just straight fire. And he drops real dope like little guided meditations to help get your mind right on certain topics and things. He dropped a real good one today. You know, I would definitely check that out. I would definitely recommend that. You know. Nick Twaddle says, you have a yeet button yet? Yeah, if you want to yeet this stream, just press the X, the top left, you know? But you don't want to yeet this stream. You mean a button to symbolize the yeetish. Yeah. Andrew Kamarami says, are we already authoring our reality without knowing the user interface? Well, yes, you are. You are, you know. That's why you need to learn the user interface. You know, I gave my son a laptop, you know. He's trying to work out the user interface. You know, he's just getting used to OS X, you know. So that goes there and that does that and do. And when he works out a thing, he gets all excited. Oh, so that's there and unlocks this world of potential. It feels all powerful, you know. He was designing, he was designing computer games today. Little Hercules, that's my son, he's 7. You know, he's designing levels on Geometry Dash. And he's trying to install some program on his laptop so he can design more complicated computer games. He's coming to show me all these pictures he's drawn of all these characters he's designed for his computer game. One of them's like an old man version of me. But you know, it's cool, right? Because like 7-year-olds now, man, they just expect to be able to do things like make a video game. Like, yeah, why not? I can make a video game. I can design a video game and a characters. He's always like, come play my game, daddy. These are the rules I've devised, and this is how it's gonna be, and do. All that. You know. Milton Dan says he'll be teaching you before long. Yo, I can't wait for that. You know, we and him been playing Minecraft Dungeons together. Should probably be twitching that, right? But I deliberately kind of let him start the game type thing so he could be the one showing me, you know, which was really cool. He's like, okay, Dada, now this is your inventory, and this is what you do with this, and oh, look, Dada, you got a diamond sword. Ooh, now you can do this. Do. It's very cool. Sheila D613 missed the question. Yeah, that's cool, because I've just been chatting a bit. But yeah, I want to know, you know, where you are and if you could author your own reality. If you suddenly had the user interface for reality itself, what would be the first thing you would author into that new reality that you could suddenly, you had the full control of, you know? That's what I want to know. That's all I want to know. Just basic questions, you know, just basic shit like what's your favorite color? You know, just basics. Basic ting. That's all I want to know. Matthew Allison in Pierre, South Dakota says glossolalia. Glossolalia. Do I have to Google that? I guess I do. I don't know what a glossolalia is. You know, glossolalia. I always check. If I don't know what something is now, I always try to find out, you know. I used to pretend I knew shit. I'd just be like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. Oh, the phenomenon of apparently speaking in an unknown language, especially in religious worship, is practiced by Pentecostal and charismatic Christians. Yeah, I seen that shit. Yeah, that's that shit that stopped me running away with that church one time. I think I told you that story. There was a little church came to town, you know, and they excited me. They had song and dance. It seemed very vibey, and then I was going to run away with them, you know. But then they freaked me out because the minister had this kind of like collapsy, bibbly type situation going on, man. That just scared me. I ran away. You know, I ran away from the glossolalia. I guess that's what it was. Straight up glossolalia. Agada bigada bosh. You know what I mean? I couldn't hack that glossolalia. Yeah. Anyway. Ooh. Where we at? What up, Nick Twaddle? Nick Twaddle, no, you said Hercules was going to sample that yeet. I'll never leave you, BB. What? He's got clout. This one is amazing, can't wait. Oh, you're talking about Scott Adams, yeah? Yeah, what up, baby? Sidrisej says home. He's at home and he'd have more patience for his son. Yeah, more patience and acceptance for your son. Well, you need to accept your son. What's your son done that needs acceptance? Is he into the Beatles? Yikes. Milton Dans in Melbourne says rehabilitation through the power of music and dancing. Ooh, baby, you can do that. BJB in South Carolina. I'd go to the future. What? Okay. David Howe, Philadelphia. People to really listen to each other. Damn, you think you're big, huh? I mean, that's some major reality changing there, but maybe you can. Why not? Joshua Tran in Seattle. I'd improve the graphical design. It's rather hard to see at the moment. Oh yeah? What's going on in Seattle? Is it foggy? Luke in Canada says preferred reality. All residing in the perfect love of God. Hey. Splash, splash, splash. Splash, splash, splash. Mikhail Archangel, I think you were first, my guy. Says, what a smart boy. Hey, thank you. He is a smart boy. He is a beautiful boy. Richard Mack lives in Alaska. If I could change one thing, it would be to stop the violence that's currently going on in America. Shouts out to you, Richard Mack. How's Alaska? Is it violent in Alaska? What's the vibes in Alaska? I've never been to Alaska. I'd love to go to Alaska. Stephen Keedle says, connect the cut, authoring a new thread in the tapestry. Shabba! Brandon Shirtlev, Texas. I would author a novel that alters the future for the better. Hey, you could do that. You could do that now. I think you could do that. What up, Mackenstein? Got the track. Love it. Putting in some overtime. So I was just thinking about you, my guy, Howard. And I'll get to have the live Meaningwave to keep me going. Nice. I will stop wasting time and my character will become my destiny. Look forward to hypnotism from Adams. Hey, my guy. Shouts out to you. Get after it.
Get after it.
Amy Dog. When did you become a DJ? I thought that was one of those like, oh, look, when did you become a DJ? Rather than when did you become a DJ, which is a perfectly fine question. I'll let me get these and I'll answer that. Let me finish this little thing, ritual of ours. Cindy Bailey says, Moreno Valley, I'd rid myself of chronic pain, which prevents me from becoming an optimal human being. Good. That is what you will do. You will do that, Cindy Bailey. I believe you will. Sheila D613 in Ottawa, Canadian, says, I'd bring as much joy to the world as humanly possible. I'd make people smile. Had a hard day at work, seeing people suffering today. Some days it's hard on my heart. God bless doctors and nurses, man. Bless you, Sheila D613, in the place to be. Sometimes I think you're a fictional character from a series of children's books about a lovely person who rides around on a bicycle, bringing joy to the world and bringing people meals, you know? Maybe you are, you know? Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, shouts out to you. Andrew Komaromi in Scarborough. The answers to that question. Yeah. Raquel Bequito is feeling great here in Cali. Thank you. I want writing that all people activate and reside in their higher divine selves of love and use their free will here for the good of all souls sharing this place. I like your book, Raquel Bequito. I like that. My flying unicorn, Akira, which figure is on the back of your phone stand? Yo, which one's this? Oh look, this is your boy murking the dragon. You know what I mean? It's your boy Josh murking that dragon, you know? You gotta murk that dragon. You gotta kill the dragon, you know what I mean? Kill the dragon, get the gold, all that. You know the vibes. You know the vibes, come on. Come on. God bless Daniel Alfredson, quite. Alaska's chill right now. We're all in awe of what's going on down south. Is that everything? Yeah, I bet. I bet, baby. Hey, yo, it's time for the International High Five. Let's get it. Across space and time. Cock back, aim for the elbow, aim for the brain. Smash, 3, 2, 1. Woo! High five, baby. Ooh. High five, baby. We're going in tonight. We're going in. We've got a special set. I'm going to do that in a minute. Regulators! Smash that like. Smash that like, baby. We got likes to smash. We got vibes to regulate. We got questions to answer. I had a question to answer about being a DJ. Grukwi says, Akira, you should post more Elon Musk songs. I mean, I guess I'll have to make them, right? It's not just posting them, it's making it. If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff to post. So you think I should make more Elon songs? Well, I made a new one last week and the other week, and it's out now. It came out on Friday, so that's one for you. I know it's the problem with songs, right? They're only little. You know what I mean? It's a lot of effort goes into a song, and then it comes out, and it's only very small. A couple minutes long, couple minutes, and it's gone. You know what I mean? It's a funny old thing, a song. So small. You know? So dense. So much just goes into a song. So many years of experiences and so many years of working and building skills and all that type of thing. And there's so much wisdom and someone else's, you know, when you're working with someone else like that, when you're using someone else's voice, that's all of their stuff too. All of their pain, all their sorrow, all their dreams. You know? Imagine little Elon. You know, I like to do this sometimes. You know, imagine, you think of Elon now, right? And maybe you got some kind of opinion on Elon. Maybe you like him, maybe you don't like him. And same with Akira the Don, you know? And same with yourself. You know, but think of the little version. Think of little Elon. Just little Elon, just coming out of his mama, you know? Maybe little Elon with his first Lego brick. And think of little Akira with his. And think of you with yours. We ain't so different, you know? Me and Elon and you. We all came out of our mamas. You know, none of us could walk for quite a while. It's funny, humans. All that time, all helpless. You could, you know, a baby, you know what I mean? Like a cat could kill a baby. A little cat, you know what I mean? A badger could fuck up a baby. A badger, you know what I mean? A badger could fuck up a baby. Dingoes take baby, don't you know what I mean? A dingo. You know, like babies is helpless, you know? We was all babies, baby. We was all little babies, baby, every single one of us. You know what I mean? Once upon a time. Then the world happened, you know? Some people think that life is happening to them, but I think it's them that's happening to life, you know? But some people don't realize that. And I guess it's a perspective. But I choose to take the perspective that it is not life that is happening to me, it's me that's happening to life, you know? I'll go at it from that angle. Offense. You know? It's easier that way. In some ways it's more hard because there's more responsibility, but in some ways it's easier because there's more responsibility. You know what I mean? It's like, it's pretty simple when you realize like that you have control and you're powerful. And you know, you're like a cannonball launching itself into a large pool. You know what I mean? And you're gonna do a bit of displacing. You know what I mean? But like, it ain't that you're being hit by the vastness of a tidal wave. You know what I mean? Which is the way some people feel. And I can see how like life could get you down if you felt that way. If you were looking at life like a big wave just smashing you. smashing on you, like the contents of an entire swimming pool just crushing you from above, rather than you being like, you know what I mean, one of them rubber bricks that you lob at a pool, you know, or like a bouncy ball. You know what I'm talking about. We was all very, very small. Now he's big. Shouts out to Elon Musk. He's doing big things in the world. He's making big things. He's having big dreams, and he's he's got what he believes to be the buttons for the user interface of reality, and he's trying to freak that thing. You know what I mean? He's trying to crack the code. You know what I mean? He believes in the simulation, and he believes that since he believes in the simulation and the world is code, that means that you can get in there and you can hack that code. You know what I mean? You can break that code. You can be like Neo in the Matrix and jump between two big buildings. You know, there is no spoon. And that's just a perspective. That's just a way of looking at the world that means that then the way that you interact with the world is easier for you or more productive or whatever. These are all frameworks. All these things, whether it's religions or, you know, like this crazy new religion they've got where they all have to kneel all the time and like wear like African scarves. It's just very strange to me. It seems like some kind of strange sort of cultural appropriation. I don't know what they're doing. It feels like strange sort of blackface of some kind, like kneeling in other people's scarves. What are you doing? But you know, whatever, man. I mean, you choose your religion. Yeah, choose your interface. Choose the interface that works with you. I say, find one that works, and just use that. That's all they are. They're just, you know, modes of ways of being able to operate in this so-called reality, this strange dream that we find ourselves in. You know, it's a strange dream, baby.
Akira.
Shrifty Blood says, first learn to float, then swim, then surf, baby. And yeah, I think that's good advice. But somebody did ask when I became a DJ, when I become the DJ, when didst thou become a DJ, said Army Dog. And, you know, I guess I was born one, you know. I guess I was born a DJ. But, I mean, I remember not very much before the age of 7, but when I was 7, I do remember making mixtapes for people in school, you know, putting them onto songs that I thought were good, and also trying to make my own songs, you know. So that, just always that was one of the things that I liked to do. I like to play people's music, man. I always recognize the power of music. Power of music to regulate the vibes. And so I always tried to wield that power, and I always tried to harness that power. It's probably a better way of putting it, you know? I always tried to harness that power because I saw how it worked, you know? My dad wasn't very happy, but music made him happy. The world didn't make my dad happy, you know? The world made my dad sad, it seemed, from observing him, but he loved music, my dad. He loved music. And you put on an album and he would get lost in it, you know? Get lost in that thing, and he'd go to a faraway place. I used to watch my dad time travel, you know? I talked before about how music, you can use it as a time travel device. Take you back to a place that you were when you first heard it, and it first like carved itself into your soul, you know? And I used to watch my dad time traveling back to when he was a little boy with the David Bowie LP. I'd watch him put that thing on, he'd close his eyes, and he'd be back with his little brother, and they'd be playing together, you know? Listening to that David Bowie music that they loved so well. You know? His brother was a policeman. And it drove him to drink and tragedy and sadness. And he lost his family. You know? He lost his daughters. He had 2 daughters and a wife, and he lost them all because of the drink. And the drink was brought on from being a policeman and witnessing horrible, horrible things. You go to a house, you get called out, you're a policeman, you have to go to this house, and you see some horrible shit that fucks you up forever. You know, some horrible, horrible shit that stains your soul forever. And what do? You just go out with the police afterwards, you have a drink. But the problem is you go to the pub, and because you're a policeman, people spit. They don't like you, you're a policeman. Pfft. Fuck off, copper. They hate you. You're just trying to help your community, you know? Provide for your family. Doing a really hard, horrible job. And people hate you for it. You know, that shit fucked up my uncle. And it drove him to drink, and he lost his family, and no one saw him for years and years until my dad managed to track him down. And he was living on his own in a little shitty little flat with no furniture, and all he had in his flat was a mattress and a record player. A couple of David Bowie LPs. Same ones him and my dad used to listen to. You know? You're just sitting there listening to those David Bowie LPs. Time traveling. Time traveling to back when he was just a little boy. And the world hadn't, hadn't hit him, landed on top of him like like the contents of a swimming pool. Anyway, my dad found him and he took him back with him to where he was living then and got me a little crib next door. But he didn't last long. It was like a year or so and then he died. In his 40s. And a lazy boy on Boxing Day. Day after Christmas, just like his mum. Listening to his David Bowie LPs. Time traveling. That was my Uncle Jan. And I love my Uncle Jan. I remember when he was happy, I remember when he was a young, happy man. Life's amazing, I gave his name to my son. In the middle of his name. Hercules Jan Kingfish. And I think of him often. There you go. I'm going to play a set. I'm going to play a set of songs, Oh, actually, before that, I need to get a piece of technology working correctly, don't I? So, forget it. It'll be fine. So I'll dedicate this to my Uncle Jan, who was a policeman in Birmingham, and he was a beautiful soul. But he couldn't hack it, I guess he just couldn't hack it. And sometimes people can't hack it. It's a lot to hack, It ain't easy. But if it ain't easy if you haven't got the tools to deal with it, if no one ever taught you. I've been lucky. I've been teaching myself a lot of things, and I've had a lot of adventures that have taught me things, and I had a lot of intonations early on that taught me things, and I was able to survive things as a young man that a lot of people wouldn't have been able to survive, and I did for some reason. For some reason, I survived all manner of things, and I ended up here. And now I'm in a beautiful position. I'm in the place, a place very close to where I always wanted to be. I mean, it is where I wanted to be. I'm not DJing in space yet, but it's pretty close, And so now I'm just doing my best, baby, to get as many of these tools, as many of these buttons for the user interface, so to speak, and turning them into songs, so you guys can have them, so everyone else can have them. And so that what happened to my uncle don't happen to, so that some people can be spared that, because it's unnecessary. So anyway, I'll dedicate this to my Uncle Jan and to you, especially you.
Laughing heart. Clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them, take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life. often you learn to do it, more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. And the gods wait to delight in you. That's a beauty.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Pain. Pain. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Pain, 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 pain.
I'm deep in the cookie jar. The cookie jar is something that I've made up of all the failures of my life. All the things that I failed and I went back. I failed and I went back and I finally succeeded. All the things that kicked my ass. I put them all in the cookie jar because at times of hell, even the hardest men, in times of suffering, what we do is we forget how hard we really are. Because that's what suffering is. Suffering is a test. That's all it is. Suffering is a true test of life. And so that cookie jar travels in my situation where I have poopy pants, the woe is me mentality of, oh my God, life sucks. I take the 1 second decision. I step out of my life for 1 second, go in the cookie jar, pull up, oh, motherfucker, you went in 3 hell weeks and finished 2. One of those hell weeks a guy died because it was so bad. Oh, you are a motherfucking badass. You are. I put it back in the cookie jar and I remember who the fuck I really am. I'm not the kid that was called nigga. I'm not the scared kid. This is who I am. It's a reminder of who you truly are at the core of yourself. This is who I am. But what I was saying to myself the whole time on that track, this is who I am. Self-talk and visualization are the 2 keys to my success. I believed for that last 19 miles, I was indestructible. Cause I took myself in that chair, crapping up my back, peeing blood in my leg, shin splints, stress fractures. I use all that for motivation versus negativity. I use it for motivation. I said to myself, who on this fucking earth would still be going right now? You are. You are. You gotta be the hardest motherfucker on the planet. Is it true? I don't give a fuck. At that time, it got me to the finish line of that fucking race. I believed it. I believe it today. I believed it enough to where my body said, he's not gonna stop. And I took all the negative things. I need to go to the hospital, this and that, and I used it all. Who the hell could even get out of that chair? This is who I am. Who the hell would even think about taping stress fractures up? This is who I am. You did. You did. This is who I am. All those things I use for motivation.
Yeah. Hey, this is who I am. Who are you, baby? This is who I am. You're a bad motherfucker, that's who you are. You are here.
This is who I am.
You're here, baby, and we're super glad you're here. Make some noise for yourself.
All those things I use for motivation.
Yeah. Make some noise for yourself, baby. It's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak of recorded human civilization.
One way of conceptualizing yourself is that you're one speck of dust among 7 billion. And when you conceptualize yourself that way, you might think, well, what difference does it make what I say or do? And that's actually quite convenient for you, because if it doesn't matter what you say or do, then you don't have any responsibility and you can do whatever you want. The price you pay for that is a bit of nihilism, but if you don't have to shoulder any responsibility, that's a small price to pay. The other way of looking at it, and this is actually the accurate way of looking at it, is that you're in a network. You're a node in a network, and so you can do a little bit of arithmetic very rapidly and just figure out how powerful you are. You know 1,000 people. They know 1,000 people. That means that you're one person away from 1 million people and 2 persons away from 1 billion people. And you're the center of that network. And now the way networks work is that information propagates in a networked manner. So don't underestimate the power of your speech. Don't underestimate the power of truth. There's nothing more powerful. Tell the truth. 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 Or at least don't lie. That's a start. Tell the truth. 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 Or at least don't lie. That's a start. Now, in order to speak what you might regard as the truth, you have to let go of the outcome. You have to think, all right, I'm going to say what I think, stupid as I am, biased as I am, ignorant as I am. I'm going to state what I think as clearly as I can, and I'm going to live with the consequences no matter what they are. Now, the reason you think that's an element of faith. The idea is that nothing brings a better world into being than the stated truth. Now, you might have to pay a price for that, but that's fine. You're going to pay a price for every bloody thing you do and everything you don't do. You don't get to choose to not pay a price. You get to choose to poison you're going to take. That's it. Tell the truth. 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 Or at least don't lie. That's a start. Tell the truth. 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 Or at least don't lie. That's a start. It's almost impossible to provide people with enough protection so that they feel safe to speak. Okay, so we'll address that directly. It is not safe to speak, and it never will be. But the thing you got to keep in mind is that it's even less safe not to speak. Right? It's a balance of risks. It's like you want to pay the price for being who you are and stating your mode of being in the world, or do you want to pay the price for being a bloody serf, one that's enslaved him or herself? Well, that's a major price, man. That thing unfolds over decades, and you'll just be a miserable worm at the end of about 20 years of that, right? No self-respect, no power, no ability to voice your opinions, nothing left but resentment because everyone's against you. Say what you think carefully. Pay attention to your words. But it's a price you want to pay if you are willing to believe that truth is the cornerstone of society. In the most real sense, if you're willing to take that leap, then tell the truth and see what happens. Tell the truth. 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 Or at least don't lie. That's a start. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. At least don't lie. That's a start. You think, well, I'll lie and I'll get away with it. It's like, no, you won't. You cannot get away with warping the structure of being. It's like, well, I can lie and get away with it. It's like, I see. Here's your theory. There's all this reality around you that you don't comprehend at all. There's not that much of you. There's a lot of it. And you're going to do something that isn't in harmony with that. And it's going to work. That's your theory.
Bless up, baby. Yeah, make some noise for yourself.
To get into the unitive world, underneath, underlying and supporting the everyday practical world, there have to be certain alterations in one's common sense. Now there are certain ideas, and beyond these ideas, certain feelings that are difficult to get across, not because they're intellectually complicated, not at all because of that, but because they're unfamiliar. They're strange. We haven't been brought up to accommodate. In exactly the same way that in past times, people knew that the planets were supported in the sky because they were embedded in spheres of crystal. And if they weren't embedded in spheres of crystal, and of course you could see them because you could see through them, they would fall down on the earth. And now when astronomers finally suggested that there were no crystal spheres, people felt unbelievably insecure. See? They had a terrible time assimilating this idea. Now, do you see what it involves to assimilate a really new idea? You have to do quite a flip. For example, there's some people whose number systems only account for quantities. 1, 2, 3, many. So they don't have any concept of 4 corners to a table. See, a table has many corners, and a pile of pebbles is, in that sense, equivalent in manyness to the 4 corners of a table. Now they have difficulty, you see, in beginning to assimilate the idea of counting through and numbering all those corners or all those pebbles. But we've done that. And so to us that is perfectly simple. But imagine the kind of mentality, the kind of person to whom that is not simple at all. But now in exactly the same way, there is here what I'm trying to explain, a new idea that most people don't assimilate. And that is the idea of the total interdependence of everything in the world.
All stand for the national anthem. All stand for the national anthem.
Okay, so here's the problem.
Hey.
There's a big problem here.
What's
The
that?
problem is, it's true.
Oh.
You're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. oppressed, you're 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 oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why.
Maybe you're too short, or you're not as beautiful as you could be, or your grandparent was a serf. Likely, because almost everybody's great-grandparent was. You know, you're not as smart as you could be, and you have a sick relative, and you have your own physical problem. Frankly, you're a mess. Frankly, you're a mess. And you're oppressed in every possible way, including your ancestry and your biology. The entire sum of human history has conspired to produce victimized you with all your individual pathological problems. It's like, yes! Yeah! True!
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why.
Okay, but the problem is that it is true, and so if you take the oppressed, you have to fractionate them and fractionate them and fractionate them and fractionate them and stuff. It's like, you're a woman. Yeah, okay, well, I'm a black woman. Well, I'm a black woman who has 2 children. Well, I'm a black woman who has 2 children, and one of them isn't very healthy. And then, well, I'm a Hispanic woman, and I have a genius son who doesn't have any money so that he can't go to university. My husband is an alcoholic brute. It's like, well, yeah, that sucks too. And so, let's fix all your oppression. Let's fix all your oppression. Let's fix all your
oppression.
And we'll take every single thing into account, and then we'll fix yours too. We'll take every single thing into account. It's like, no, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because you can't. You can't. It is technically impossible.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why.
First of all, you can't even list all the ways that you're oppressed. Second, how are you going to weight them? Third, who's going to decide? That's the bloody thing. Who's going to decide? Who's going to decide? That's the thing. You have to fractionate the oppressed all the way down to the level of the individual. Oh, that's what the West figured out. It's not an accident that the axiomatic Western individual is someone who is unfit, cross, and tortured. It's like, yes, right, exactly.
You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why. You're oppressed, 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 you're oppressed. God only knows why.
So what do you do about that?
Hey.
Well, I thought about that for a long time too. It's like, well, you don't get together in a damn mob, because all that does is allow you to be as horrible as you could possibly imagine and suffer from none of the consequences. That's a bad idea. So how about we don't do that? Well, there's a deep idea in the West too. It's like, pick up your damn suffering and bear it. Try to be a good person, so you don't make it worse. Well, that's a truth, you know?
It took a while to get to that point where enough was enough. I came home one night from work spraying for cockroaches. Long story short, I turned on the Discovery Channel. I saw some guys going through Navy SEAL training. They were going through Hell Week. They were getting their ass just beat. You know, they were suffering. 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 And I was weighing like 297 pounds. I had to make a change in my life. You know, I was at an all-time low, and I wasn't going anywhere, and I was exactly what everybody said I was gonna be, which was nothing. So I had to make a change. I came from a horrible background. I got called nigger every day of my life growing up, lived in a small town. The Klan headquarters at that time was about 20 minutes from where I lived. One of the high-ups in the KKK, son, sat behind me in 2 classes, so he called me nigger all the time. Got my first car, they spray painted nigger, we're gonna kill you on it. I was just an insecure, scared kid. The only way I could find myself was to put myself through the worst thing possible. Suffering. 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 No one was helping me out. My dad made my mom kind of irregular. So she worked 3 jobs, went to college full time, so she was never around. One time this person drew a picture of me and, you know, said, we're gonna kill you nigger on my Spanish notebook. And I took it to my principal. And my principal said they spelled nigger Niger. That was the best advice he can give me. So long story short, what I realized was no one was here to help me. I started shaving my head when I was 16 years old. And the feeling I had every morning, I looked in the mirror, was horrible. And I didn't want to feel like that anymore. And how I felt was a kid going nowhere, a kid that was scared. And most kids will accept that and look for help. But the best thing that happened to me, no one helped me. No one felt sorry for me. No one looked at me and said, like, this day and age, they'll take you in and they'll tell everybody, stop picking on this person. Back then, they didn't care. The KKK marched in a 4th of July parade. Suffering. 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 And my mom cared about me, but my dad took our soul. And she, you know, did the best she could. I had to figure out I wasn't gonna be a punk kid all my life. So the only way I could turn it around was to suffer. I had to build calluses in my brain the same way I built calluses on my hand. What I realized is for me to become the man I wanted to become, I saw myself as the weakest person God ever created. But I never blamed God for anything he did to me. So I wanted to change that to be the hardest man ever created. Am I that? I don't know, but you had to have a goal. And my goal when I was sitting there, not going to school, being bullied, having no self-esteem, my goal was the only person that's gonna turn this person around is me. The only way I can turn it around is put myself through the worst things possible a human being can ever endure. And that'll be the only way that I can build this brain to handle anything that comes in front of it, callousing my mind through pain and suffering. Through pain and suffering.
Trying
to set the course. Trying to get people to pass me on because there's people bottom feeding. There's people doing the wrong thing. There's people that don't have the right intent. And they're
taking advantage of people when they're in a sad place, or when they're nervous or insecure. I want to make people to know that I'm focused. I'm focused on getting all the attention, all of the attention, so I can do a couple things. My number one goal for all of you is one, first and foremost, to build self-esteem. I want all of you to be more confident tomorrow than you were yesterday because you're spending time paying attention to my crap, because it's very simple. My crap speaks to this. Stop worrying about what you're not and start focusing on who you are. We all suck at shit. All suck at shit. Stop worrying about what you're not and start focusing on who you are. We all suck at shit. When you figure out what you're good at and where your strengths lie, you will win. I'm tired of your mom saying you're a loser, or your boyfriend saying you can't, or your older brother, because he's insecure, not giving you love or self-esteem so that you can succeed. Dude, I'm tired of the people closest to you, because of their insecurities and weaknesses, giving you feedback and putting you in a path that keeps you suppressed, because they've got their insecurities. They've got their insecurities. They've got their insecurities. They've got their insecurities. Stop worrying about what you're not and start focusing on who you are. We all suck at shit. All suck at shit. Stop worrying about what you're not and start focusing on who you are. We all suck at shit. Stop worrying about what you're not and start focusing on who you are. We all suck at shit. All suck at shit. Stop worrying about what you're not and start focusing on who you are. We all suck at shit. Who you are. Who you are.
Shouts out to everybody loves in. Shouts out to the chat. What up, Cindy Betty? What up, Sheila D? Bless up, Michael in Seattle. You bad motherfucker. We proud of you. Yeah. No. Oh, suck a shit. What up, Michael? Archangel. What up, Dan Frank? Yeah. This goes out to you, baby. And you. And you.
Bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger. And you do that in the gym, for example. When you go lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are.
More than who you are. Who you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are.
There's a mythological trope that I discuss fairly frequently about rescuing your father from the belly of the dragon or the belly of the beast. You see it in The Lion King. You see it when Simba is being initiated by the baboon, and he ends up contemplating himself in a dark pool, and then his father appears in the sky. And then in the Pinocchio story, when he's trying to become a genuine human being, instead of a marionette pulled by other people's strings, or a liar, or a jackass, because those are his alternate destinies, he goes down to the darkest place he can find, the bottom of the ocean, and finds the biggest monster he can look at, and inside he finds his father, and then rescues him.
More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. Oh, you could be. More than who you are. More than
the question is, why do you find your father when you look into the abyss?
pursuing a goal, some of the things they have to accomplish or confront on the way to that goal frighten them, and they start to avoid, and then they get more afraid. Their ability to pursue their goal or to accomplish their goal deteriorates because they're avoiding. If you're a psychotherapist or even a friend or a supportive loved one, you're going to encourage the person to face the challenges that are making them afraid, to face them voluntarily. What happens as a consequence of that is that the person usually is able to overcome those fears and develop the necessary skill and to prevail. That's partly because, not so much because they get less afraid, but because they get more skilled and more courageous. If you bite off a little more than you can chew, you get stronger as a consequence. And you do that in the gym, for example, when you go lift weights. You lift weights that are a little heavier all the time. And as a consequence, you develop yourself physically and you turn into who you could be. You turn into more than you are. Okay, so if you face fears a little bit at a time, fears and challenges, and you do that voluntarily, then you become
more than who you are. How you could be more than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. How you could be more than who you are.
Okay, now let's recast that in archetypal language and make it into a kind of ultimate. If you want to become everything that you could be, then you look into the abyss itself, which is the darkest place that you can possibly contemplate. The terror of mortality and insanity and of suffering and of malevolence, all of those. It would be like looking into hell, I suppose. And then by voluntarily doing that, you call upon the strongest part of yourself to respond. And the strongest part of yourself is symbolized as the sleeping father nested inside the beast. It's like an answer to Nietzsche's conundrum. If you look long enough into an abyss, then the abyss looks into you. It's like, well, if you look long enough into an abyss, past when the abyss looks into you, you see who you could become in the form of the great ancestral figures nested inside the catastrophe of life. Then you can join them. You can incorporate that and become stronger. And none of that's going to happen without the demand that's placed on you by willing to confront the full terror of life, the reality of suffering and death, the ever-looming presence of malevolence in your own heart and in the heart of other people. So it's evil and suffering. If you do it forthrightly, then you discover who you could be as a consequence. And who you could be is the solution to malevolence and suffering.
More than who you are. How you could be more than who you are. More than you are. More than who you are. How you could be more than who you are. More than you are.
Such a brilliant conceptualization that inside the darkest place is the heroic ancestor whose identity you could incorporate. Perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. And I really believe it's true. And what it does is it says that the human being is actually stronger than the greatest challenge that can be set before him or her.
Akira.
Shouts out to everybody overcoming suffering. Bless the heck up.
The
You are more
happiest
powerful than
man
you think.
on the planet Earth. So people may take this, as so many people do. We live in a very weakened society. So when they hear a throwback guy like me from back in the ancient days of Garanimals, they often think this guy is just whatever. So if you think that I'm some unhappy guy, you're wrong. Having lived the life I've lived and seen the other side, not being afraid to attack what was in front of me, has made me happy. Be very happy. basically, I just don't walk around with a daggone smile on my face all day. So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
What the dark side is we all have a cookie jar.
Yeah.
And we all have a jar of fuck. We all have a cookie jar. And we all have a jar of fuck. We all have a cookie jar. And we all have a jar of fuck. It's a jar of fuck, man, where shit just ain't going right. And in Hell Week, what they do in Hell Week, because this is where I really went to the dark side. What they do in Hell Week is they design Hell Week to find your flaws. And they do a really good job of that. It's 130 hours of continuous training. You may get 2 hours of sleep. And they beat the shit out of you and find everything wrong with your mentality. And then they start Hell Week. And that's the beauty of it. For me, I'm not some nasty God-given guy. I don't have a great bit of talent in anything. So what got me through horrible times was the dark side. My name is David Goggins. I created Goggins. Goggins is the guy that can take anything you put in front of him. We all have a cookie jar, and we all have a jar of fuck. We all have a cookie jar, and we all have a jar of fuck. You wanna break my motherfucking legs? So be it. I have a way of going to a place like I did in that race, where all the pain and suffering that they put on top of me in Hell Week, I will reverse that pain and suffering, and I will take your soul. For every instructor that put me through Budge, my job, what drove me, was I wanted you to go home that night after you beat the living shit out of me, and I smiled in your face. I wanted you to feel worse than I did, and you were going home to a nice warm bed with your wife or your kids and a nice meal, and I was still out there in the grip, suffering for another 100 hours. I wanted you to think about me, knowing that I'm comfortable, being very unfucking comfortable. And I want you to think about when you went through fucking Hell Week, how uncomfortable you were and how bad you wanted to quit, knowing I'm not thinking that fucking way. So the dark side is something that I've designed. It's an evil place I can go that very few things can hurt me. We all have a cookie jar, and we all have a jar of fuck. We all have a cookie jar, and we all have a jar of fuck. I use the hurt you're trying to put on me, I flip it upside down and use it. You trying to use it for kryptonite? No. It's power pillars for me. I'm using it for strength. I just flip negative into positive, that's all it is.
Okay, now back to you.
One of the very great things that C.G. Jung contributed to mankind's understanding was the concept of the shadow. That everybody has a shadow. And that the main task of the psychotherapist is to do what he called to integrate the evil. To, as it were, put the devil in us in its proper function. Because you see, it's always the devil, the unacknowledged one, the outcast, the scapegoat, the bastard, the bad guy. You see, the black sheep of the family. It's always from that point, which we could call the fly in the ointment. You see, that generation comes. In other words, in the same way as in the drama, to have the play, it's necessary to introduce a villain. It's necessary to introduce a certain element of trouble. So, in the whole scheme of life, there has to be the shadow. The shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family. The shadow. Integrate the evil. Integrate the evil. The shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family, the shadow. Everybody has a shadow, because without the shadow there can't be the substance. So this is why there is a very strange association between crime and all naughty things and holiness. You see, holiness is way beyond being good. Good people aren't necessarily holy people. A holy person is one who is whole, who has, as it were, reconciled his opposites. And so there's always something slightly scary about holy people. And other people react to them in very strange ways. They can't make up their minds whether they're saints or devils. So holy people have, throughout history, always created a great deal of trouble, along with their creative result. Take Jesus, for example. Trouble that Jesus created is absolutely incalculable. Think of the Crusades, the Inquisition, the heaven only knows what's gone on in the name of Jesus. Freud's a big troublemaker, as well as a great healer, you see. It all goes together. The bad guy, the black sheep of the family, the shadow. Integrate the evil. Integrate the evil, the shadow. The bastard, the bad guy, the black sheep of the family, the shadow. Everybody has a shadow, because without the shadow there can't be the substance. Holy person is scary because he is like the earthquakes, or better still, he's like the ocean. See the ocean on a lovely sunny day, you can say, oh, isn't that gorgeous, and you can go into it and relax and float around. But boy, when the storm comes, does that thing get mad? Terrifying. So there is in us the ocean, you see. And Jung felt that the whole point was to bring the two together by a kind of fantastic honesty, to penetrate one's own motivations to the depths.
What separates me from a lot of people is they go into a daunting task, and the task is overwhelming.
Akira.
And I heard the pull-up record was 4,020 pull-ups, and I was talking about breaking this record. People are like, oh my God. I went right to a pen and paper. What are you doing? I'm doing the math, man. I'm doing the math, man. What are you talking about? I'm doing the math, man. I'm open-minded to the fact that, okay, if I do 5 pull-ups in a minute for so many hours, I can get so many pull-ups in. How much time do I have to rest? I was breaking the math down. You're open-minded to the possibility that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So that's why my eyes and my body light up about things, because I know that if you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul, whatever the fuck is in front of you. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul, whatever the fuck is in front of you. That's what I realized. I was never breaking the soul of anything in front of me. So that's why I came with this thing called taking souls. I started to devise ways to break a soul of a human being, of an object, of whatever's in front of me. If you keep on attacking something, nothing wants to stand in front of anything. That is relentless. That's when a lot of stuff started clicking, man. I started watching those instructors on the side. They've been there, done that. Now they're instructing you. They have their parkas on, it's usually cold, coffee, drinking their coffee, and they're beating the crap out of us. And when I started realizing, I started playing mind games. I was like, you know what? I bet these fuckers are looking at us, judging themselves about when they were going through hell week. About looking at Goggins right now. I was better than him. I was better than that guy. I was better than that fucker over there. And I was like, okay. So what I started doing was I got my boat crew. It's Wednesday and everybody's broken, everybody's beat up, man, and everybody's like just trying to get through Hell Week now, and they tell you how you're supposed to feel. So you are feeling that way. I'm like, don't let these motherfuckers tell you how you're supposed to feel. No, it's day one, motherfucker. This is hour one. So I was getting my boat crew all jacked up. I said, we're gonna take these motherfuckers' souls. So they had us doing a simple thing that guys are struggling with. Boat Crew 2 is just launching the fucking boat and you're yelling, yeah, you can't fucking hurt us, can't hurt Boat Crew 2. And I looked on the instructors' faces and it looked like someone had just fucked with their soul. And I looked at my guys on the boat crew and I said, hey, guess what? Those motherfuckers aren't fucking tonight. Cause we own space in their fucking head. We own space, they're gonna think about us tonight. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul, whatever the fuck is in front of you. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul, whatever the fuck is in front of you. And we start fueling off of that. We start fueling off the fact that, man, it takes 1 second of energy to steal everybody's. And then you have all the energy you need. That's all you need. You need to look at someone's eyes. You know how it is when you fight somebody and you broke that motherfucker. He's like, oh God, man, I don't want to go back to the next round. And you feel like, my God, I can fight all day. That's what taking souls is. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you're exactly jacked up. You have nothing left to give. You know how you get that fight or flight response when you get to move real quick? I started learning the mind a lot, how to get myself jacked extremely fast in a horrible environment when everybody's miserable. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. This is where I shine. And I started using all that misery for tons and tons of drive and motivation to then lead people further. Because you can get a lot of power through misery. And once people see that, my God, Goggins is fucking going, then everybody says, roger that. I started realizing that if you can just find strength just a little bit longer, you will have a crew of people following you along the way. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up.
Nah.
The enemy has to know he is not going to give up.
You must break the soul.
Whatever the fuck is in front of you. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul. Whatever the fuck is in front of you. Ow!
You have to take great pleasure in the fact that no one wants to be where the fuck you're at right now.
Hey!
Great pleasure, man. They have to bring a passion out of you. It has to bring something very, very weird out of you, man. Like, you know, people don't really understand what that is. When you're in the worst environment possible, the worst situation possible, and everybody's looking like, God, man, I hope this ends. And you see that. Time slows down and you see that. You're feeling that. Everybody has that look on their face like, God, this gotta go. I don't want to be anymore. This is where I shine.
Yeah.
This is where I shine.
Make some noise for David Goggins. David Goggins smashing it tonight. Holy cow. Holy cow, David Goggins is smashing it tonight, baby. What up, Darby? Darby says, thanks, Akira was feeling like shit today, and this pumped me right back up. I needed it. Yo, baby, we got you. We here whenever you need us. You know that. We here 2 times a day. 6 p.m. PST. On YouTube, 7 a.m. PST. On Twitch, we here for you, baby. Whatever you need, we got you. We got you. You know the vibes. Ow! Get you some space in the enemy's face.
I read this New Testament line decades ago. I could never understand it. The line is, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I thought, there's something wrong with that line. It just doesn't make sense to me. Meek just doesn't seem to me to be a moral virtue. Meek is not a good translation. What it means is this: those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed,
will inherit the earth. Will inherit the world. Will inherit the world. Hey. Will inherit the world. Will inherit the world. Will inherit the world.
Those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed, will inherit the world.
Perfect clue, baby. Ow.
That's a big difference. It's so great. You should be a monster.
You should be a monster.
You should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong.
You should be a monster.
You should be a monster. Absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it. It's like, is there something wrong with being competitive? There's nothing wrong with it. There's something wrong with cheating. There's something wrong with being a tyrant. There's something wrong with winning unfairly. All of those things are bad. But you don't want people to win? What's the difference between trying to win and striving? You want to eradicate striving? One definition of a winner is someone who never let losing stop them. Never let losing stop them. Never let losing stop them. You should fuck out. You should be a monster. Fuck out. You should be a monster. Get after it.
You should be a monster.
You gotta get after it. Life isn't a game. It's a series of games. And the right ethic is to be the winner of the series of games. And part of that means you have to learn how to be a good loser. Because you're not going to win every single game. You should be a monster.
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 You should be a monster. You should be a monster.
You can pick your level of competition in life to some degree. So let's say you pick a level of competition where you're always winning. All that means you pick the wrong level of competition. Let's say you're a grandmaster chess player and all you do is play amateurs, and every night you go home and congratulate yourself on what
what a genius you are, because you just stomp these people left, right, and center. It's like, you're not a genius. You're dimwit. What you should be doing is playing people who are beating you like as much as you can tolerate. You want to be on the edge where your skills are being developed. It's always a possibility.
Always a possibility. Yeah. There's always a possibility. Well, lost. There's always a possibility. Now. Well, lost. Always a possibility. Well, lost is always a possibility. Ow! Hey yo, shouts out Darby Childress. Bless up. Alright. Make some noise for Charles Bukowski. Dragging his ass up to the stage right now, baby. Hey! Yeah!
Born like this, into this. As the chalk faces smile, as Mrs. Death laughs, as political landscapes dissolve, as the oily fish spit out their oily prey. We are born like this, into this. Into hospitals which are so expensive that it's cheaper to die. Into lawyers who charge so much it's cheaper to plead guilty. Into a country where the jails are full and the madhouses closed. Into a place where the masses elevate fools into rich heroes. Born into this, walking and living through this, dying because of this. Castrated, debauched, disinherited because of this. The fingers reach toward an unresponsive God. The fingers reach for the bottle, the pill, the powder. We are born into this sorrowful deadliness. There will be open and unpunished murder in the streets. It will be guns and roving mobs. Land will be useless. Food will become a diminishing return. Nuclear power will be taken over by the many. Explosions will continually shake the earth. Radiated men will eat the flesh of radiated men. The rotting bodies of men and animals will stink in the dark wind. There will be the most beautiful silence never heard. Born out of that, the sun hidden there, awaiting the next
So this is a view of the world as a system of mutual exploitation and of maximal selfishness. Now, it's a very profitable view to explore. Everybody should do in their lifetime sometime two things. One is to consider death. To observe skulls and skeletons. Consider death. And to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never. That is a very gloomy thing for contemplation, but it's like manure. Just as manure fertilizes the plants and so on. So the contemplation of death and the acceptance of death is very highly generative of creative life. You get wonderful things out of that. And the other thing to contemplate is to follow the possibility of the idea that you are totally selfish. That you don't have a good thing to be said for you at all. You are a complete, utter rascal. You are a complete, utter rascal. Now, the Christians have avoided this. Because although they say in their Episcopalian form of confession that we have erred and strayed from thy ways like lost sheep, and we have followed too much the devices and desires of our own hearts, too much, you know. We have offended against thy holy laws. We have left undone those things we ought to have done, and done those things which we ought not to have done, and there is no health in us. But it ought to be different. And we're going to do our best to amend with the help of God's grace. That is a real con act. If you equate health with genuine love and perfect unselfishness, then in that sense there is no health in us when we look at ourselves from this point of view. Consider death. To observe skulls and skeletons. Consider death. And to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never. Consider death. To observe skulls and skeletons. Consider death. And to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never.
This notion that out of death comes life becomes a very important theme in the later religions of the world. He who loses his life shall find it is a spiritualization of this idea. But then, when the first cities appear in Mesopotamia, about 3000 BC, large communities grow up based on agriculture. Planting has to take place a certain time, reaping a certain time, and there are professional priests watching the heavens to know when those times were, when those times came. And those men became aware of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars. And they calculated and recognized that these planets were moving in mathematically inevitable courses. And the idea came into being. Men became aware of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars, of a cosmic order, of mathematical precision. Men became aware of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars. The neighbors now were the stars and the planets. On and on, as the day comes and goes, the year comes and goes, the eons come and go, and the whole society must go into accord with that. This idea that the human society should reproduce the heavenly order comes in. The neighbors now with the stars, and this still lives with us in our religions. All of our religions have inherited this motif from the old Babylonian world. It went out with the higher civilizations to India, to China, even across the Pacific to Mexico and Peru. And you see these great towers, these great temple towers that represent the mountain of the world. It's the axis of the world around which the world turns, as it does around the pole star. The whole world and society and the individual in it are like the planet. It's moving in a great course. And society and the individual in it are like the planet. It's moving in a great course.
Then became aware
of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars, of a cosmic order, of mathematical precision.
Then became aware
of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars. The neighbors now were the stars and the planets. Now in the 1920s, Sir Leonard Woolley, excavating in the graveyards of Ur, found graves in which there were 30 and 40 people buried, all of them in court attire, who had been buried alive. When the king died or was killed, at a certain time in the movement of the planets, when the moon goes down and the planet Venus along with the moon, that was the end of an eon, the king and his entire court walked into the grave. They were playing a game. Just as the hunters were imitating animals, just as the planting people were imitating plants, so the high civilizations began with princely, aristocratic little groups imitating the stars to the death, going all the way. The whole court at the end of an eon went in the grave so that another court could come.
Then became aware
of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars, of a cosmic order, of mathematical precision.
Then became aware
of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars. The neighbors now were the stars. It's very poetic, really. The little girls who played the harps. We have these harps. They have been excavated and restored. These little skeleton hands. The girls' hands were still on the harp strings. The women in one of the graves had golden hair ribbons. One girl didn't have her golden hair ribbon on. It was found in her pocket. She had been late to the party and hadn't had time to put her ribbon on. Well, now we don't do that anymore. That kind of action has fallen into desuetude. Nevertheless, the king still wears the golden crown of the sun.
Golden crown of the sun.
The sense has gone, yet the poetry somehow echoes.
Hey.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Make some noise, baby. For Joseph Campbell. And a place.
Perfect.
Oh!
Perfect.
Akira.
The Dawn.
He's got clout.
Perfect.
Make some noise for Akira the Don, Joseph Campbell. Hey. The body and its parts are a river. Yeah, that's facts, baby.
Everything is just an impression, said the cynic, and the response is obvious enough. But the point is a useful one, if you take it for what it's worth. The soul of man does violence to itself first, when it does its best to become an abscess, a kind of detached growth from the world. To be vexed by anything that happens is a kind of succession from nature, which compromises the nature of all things. To be vexed by anything that happens is a kind of succession from nature, and it compromises the nature of all things. The soul of man does violence to itself when it turns its back on another, or sets out to do harm, as the souls of the angry do. When overpowered by pleasure or pain, when it puts on a mask and does or says anything insincerely and untruly. When it allows its action, an impulse to be without a purpose, to be random and disconnected. Even the smallest things ought to be directed towards a goal of a rational animal. Follow the reason and already got momentary, nature, changeable, perception, dim, conditioned body, decaying, spinning around, fortune, unpredictable, lasting fame, uncertain. The body and its parts are a river, soul is a dream of mist. Life is warfare, a journey far from home. After fame is oblivion. The body and its parts are a river, soul is a dream and mist. Life is warfare, a journey far from home. After fame is oblivion. What can guide us? Only philosophy, which means keeping the demon in man, free from violence and unharmed, superior to pleasure and pain, doing nothing without purpose. No hypocrisy, randomly or dishonestly, not dependent on any man, doing or not doing anything, except what's happening now. I know there's a lot that is coming from thence, and above all that it accept death in a cheerful spirit. In a cheerful spirit, and is nothing but the dissolution of that from what it is made. If it doesn't hurt the individual elements to change continually into each other, why are people afraid of old and changing, separating? It's according to nature, and nothing's evil that's according to nature. Nothing's evil that's according to nature. The body and its parts are a river, soul is a dream and mist. Life is warfare, a journey far from home. After fame is oblivion. The body and its parts are a river, soul is a dream and mist. Life is warfare, a journey far from home. After fame is oblivion.
Perfect.
Yeah. Make some noise for Marcus Aurelius! The sun gonna come up tomorrow, baby. Sun gonna come up again. You better believe it.
heaven and glimpses of hell. I think that you can see people who live in hell. You can walk down the street and see them. For them it's eternal, because their pain is so overwhelming that it feels like it will last forever. It's also something that can engulf everyone, and has. Is there a metaphysical reality to it beyond that? I suspect so, but I don't know. I think that the heaven-like experience pointers to the way that things could be. And we don't know how things could be if we really got our acts together. We don't know. We spend a lot of time in our fallen condition, wasting time, being resentful, working counterproductively, hurting other people, and cursing fate itself. Even doing all that, we've managed to make societies that are very functional and decent. We spend 100% of our time working towards the good, instead of 50% of our time, or perhaps 51%. God only knows what we can bring about. And the sky's the limit. And then once we reach the limit of the sky, there's a sky beyond that, would then be the limit, and so on and so forth. And so, I think that heaven exists and that we can produce it.
We can produce it.
But we're not going to do that by changing the behavior of other people. I think that heaven exists and that we can produce it. But we're not going to do that by changing the behavior of other people.
Hey. Heaven exists and we can produce it. We can produce it. We're not gonna do that. Maybe we're out of people. Hey. Hey. I think that heaven exists and we can produce it. We can produce it. Hey. To do that much behavior of other people. Hey, think that heaven exists and we can produce it. We can produce it. Not gonna do it by changing the behavior of other people. Make some noise for yourself, baby. Before we go forward, first we're gonna go back. Hey. Oh! Man like Terrence.
The way I think of the psychedelics is they are catalysts to the imagination. They were back 100,000 years ago. The imagination, which was just this glimmering, this iridescence on the surface of ape cognition, was under the influence of the reciprocal feedback of self-reflection that is created by watching your own mind.
Baby.
Watching your own mind.
Watching your own mind.
Watching your own mind.
Woo.
Watching your own mind. Because it has suddenly become interesting, because it has suddenly been flooded by a psychoactive amine. That iridescence has been coaxed into language, art, architecture, music, poetry, the whole ball of wax. But now we know these things. We can uncover the secret of our origin. archaic revival. And the archaic revival is this overarching metaphor that is the way for us to go to save our necks at this point. When a culture gets into trouble, instinctively what it does is it goes back through its own past until it finds a moment where things seem to make sense.
Yeah.
And then it brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present.
The archaic revival.
When medieval Christianity no longer made sense to a major percentage of the people of Western Europe, the intellectuals of that time instinctively reached backwards into the past, looking for a stable model, and finally they reached the golden age of Periclean Athens. And there they found Plato, Aristotle, Dramatists, and they created classicism. Classicism was brought to birth in the 1400s, 2,000 years after the death of Plato. We are the children of this classical revival, which we call the Renaissance. Our theories of law, our theories of government, our notion of justice, all drawn from classical Greek and Roman models, brought back from the dead 500 years ago by a bunch of Italian investment bankers who thought this was a good model to hang their civilization on. That moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival. So we must now reach far back into time for a new cultural model. Our crisis is so great that we have to reach back to the High Paleolithic, to the moment immediately before the invention of agriculture and the creation of the dominator ego.
Make some noise for Terrence. We bring about JC now. JC in the building, bless up. One is free.
The point I want to make is this, that all of these divine interpretations of local law, of local social orders, are simply cooked up. They're not true. The society has changed with time. These are functions of conditions, geography and history. One must realize that the moral order is in flux, is changing. There is no God-given right, wrong, true, false, moral, immoral. And with that kind of relativism, one is free to live as a human being. One is free. One is free. One is free. One is free to live as a human being, not simply as a robot.
Perfect.
Repeating patterns that have been enforced.
You gotta get after it.
So we have a much more sophisticated idea toward the social order. However, when it comes to this other problem of the natural order, one's nature as man. The thing is not quite so relativistic. One is free. One is free.
One is free. One is free.
One is free.
One is free. One is free.
One is free to live as a human being. One is free. One is free. One is free. One is free to live as a human being. One is free.
One is free.
One is free to live as a human being. One is free.
Hey yo, bring us to the stage. The immortal. The immortal. That's David Foster Wallace. It's one of my favorites.
This, I submit, is the freedom of real education. Of learning how to be well-adjusted. You get to consciously decide.
What has meaning and what doesn't. What has meaning and what doesn't. What has meaning? 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 What has meaning?
You get to decide what to worship. Because here's something else that's weird but true. In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There is no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. And the compelling reason for maybe choosing some sort of God or spiritual type thing to worship, be it JC or Allah, be it Yahweh or the Wiccan mother goddess, or the Four Noble Truths or some inviolable set of ethical principles, is that pretty much anything else you worship will eat you alive. If you worship money and things, that they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough. Never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your own body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before they finally plant you. On one level, we all know this stuff already. It's been codified as myths, proverbs, cliches, epigrams, parables. The skeleton of every great story. What has meaning and what doesn't. What has meaning and what doesn't. You get to consciously decide what has meaning, 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 what has meaning. The whole trick is keeping the truth up front in daily consciousness. Worship power, you will end up feeling weak and afraid. And you will need ever more power over others to numb you to your own fear. Worship your intellect, being seen as smart, you will end up feeling stupid. Always on the verge of being found out.
Yeah. That's facts, baby.
Look, the insidious thing about these forms of worship is not that they're evil or sinful. It is that they are unconscious. They are default settings. They're the kind of worship you just gradually slip into. Day after day, getting more and more selective about what you see and how you measure value without ever being fully aware that that's what you're doing. And the so-called real world will not discourage you from operating on your default settings. Because the so-called real world of men and money and power comes merrily along on the fuel of fear and anger and frustration and craving and the worship of self. Our own present culture has harnessed these forces in ways that have yielded extraordinary wealth and comfort and personal freedom. The freedom all to be lords of our own tiny skull-sized kingdoms, alone at the center of all creation. This kind of freedom has much to recommend it. But of course there are all different kinds of freedom, and the kind that is most precious you will not hear much talked about much in the great outside world of wanting and achieving and displaying. The really important kind of freedom involves attention and awareness and discipline, and being able truly to care about other people and to sacrifice for them over and over in myriad petty little unsexy ways every day. That is real freedom. That is being educated and understanding how to think. The alternative is unconsciousness, the default setting, the rat race, the constant gnawing sense of having had and lost some infinite thing. I know that this stuff probably doesn't sound fun and breezy or grandly inspirational the way a commencement speech is supposed to sound. What it is, as far as I can see, is the capital T truth with a whole lot of rhetorical niceties stripped away. You are, of course, free to think of it whatever you wish. But please don't just dismiss it as some finger-wagging Dr. Laura sermon. None of this stuff is really about morality, or religion, or dogma, or big fancy questions of life after death. The capital T truth is about life before death. It is about the real value of a real education, which has almost nothing to do with knowledge and everything to do with simple awareness. Awareness of what is so real and essential, so hidden in plain sight all around us all the time, that we have to keep reminding ourselves. This is water. This is water. This is water. Yeah. This is water. This is water. This is water. This is water. It is unimaginably hard to do this. To stay conscious and alive in the adult world, day in and day out. Which means yet another grand cliche turns out to be true. Your education really is the job of a lifetime. And it commences now. What has meaning? And what doesn't? What has meaning? And what doesn't? You get to consciously decide what has meaning. What has meaning? 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 I wish we played with the ball. What has meaning? What has meaning? What has meaning? I wish we played with the ball.
right now today.
Oh boy.
This is the real me, obviously.
Come on. Make some noise for yourself, baby. It's that Meaning Stream, baby. It's number 85.
Sitting here right now today.
You're sitting here right now today?
This is the real me, obviously.
What up, David?
I'm a very philosophical person. And I'm gonna go there with you real quick. I believe in higher power. Don't know the name, don't know where it's coming from, don't anything like that. But I believe that this power, and visualize me real quick. Let's say it's a man up there or a woman, whatever, and they have a chart. And when you're born, they say David Goggins. Born February 17th, 1975 at 6 a.m. They write the chart down because they can see everything. They know exactly where you're fucking supposed to be. They know where you're supposed to be. You die, you go to so-called heaven. You arrive at heaven, I'm 300 pounds. I retired as an Ecolab guy, which is okay, just a job, whatever. I go up there and God looks at me and he shows me my chart. And my chart on there says you're supposed to be a Navy SEAL. You're supposed to weigh 185 pounds. You're supposed to be one of the smartest people on the planet, this, all this. You see this. And now you're in heaven, you made it to heaven, but you're like, God, Doug, I was supposed to live that life. I was supposed to live that life. And then you find out that the reason why, because we all think that if we pray on it, if we do this, if we do that, whatever, if we don't work, whatever, it's gonna magically happen for us. No. I believe that when I'm all said and done with, my whole job is to outwork the chart. Whatever the fucking chart says about me, the all-knowing power up there, I want to get up there and him look at me and say, I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this. I want to feel that. I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this. I want to feel that. I want to get to the other end of this fucking world, and however I'm being judged, whoever's judging me, to look at me and say, I did not fucking know. I had you at 185, I had you at this, but all this other shit, I was riding as you were living it. I want to find more. All I can. And in that fucking sack of shit, you have to dive in that to find more. Because if you're not willing to go in there and face yourself, you're not gonna find anything. You're gonna live right here on surface, man, right here on surface. So if there is an ending to this world, and there is somewhere to go, and there's a judgment, you're gonna get there and you might see a chart. And that chart might tell you who the fuck you should have been. And now you get the rest of your life to think about that. Man, I could have lived a much better life if I just would have just suffered a little bit more. If I just would have went in that shit and realized I had so much more. But fear and the 40% and living here versus living here, being afraid, stop me. So that's, I'm a big guy in visualizing. I'm a big guy in making a world, it may not exist. To me it does. To me it does. And I'm overpowering myself every day. And you gotta find tools to do that. That's the tool that I use. So that's what it's all about. I believe that when I'm all said and done with, my whole job is to outwork the chart. Whatever the fucking chart says about me, the all-knowing power up there, I want to get up there and him look at me and say, I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this. I want to feel that. I know everything. I didn't fucking see this. I didn't fucking see this. I want to feel that. 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 I want to feel that.
Man, said. David Goggins wants to take St. Peter's soul. Gee, why not, baby? Why not, baby? I want to feel that. I want to feel that. For the trees. Man, it's been a long old ride. But a short one too, huh? From the trees to the starship. From the trees to the starship. Hey, what about us?
1,000-year dash from the trees to the starship.
Hey, what about
History is just a 25,000-year dash from the trees to the starship. And while it's going on, it's wild and woolly. But it only lasts like that. And then you're in the starship. 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 Because we are like bacteria or something in the shortness of our lifespan. To us, 25,000 years, you can get lost in the middle of that and you can't see either end. But from the point of view of a species, it's just instantaneous. History is just a 25,000-year dash from the trees to the starship. History is just a 25,000-year dash from the trees to the starship. 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 You know, this thing happened 65 million years ago. A very large object collided with the Earth. Everything on this planet, larger than a chicken, died. Some people think in a single moment. But what's peculiar is there appears to have been a major dieback of species underway before the impact, that in the million years preceding the impact, there was some kind of echo crisis on the planet. And then this asteroid struck. You know, the dinosaurs that we find are the lumbering, enormous ones, but it's always agreed that there were a vast number of small-boned, gray-seal dinosaurs that were much smaller. Is it possible there was a breakout of intelligence? Is it possible that there was an intelligent species of a reptilian sort that was actually evolving a technical civilization which then caused this dieback of species? History is just a 25,000-year dash from the trees to the starship. History is just a 25,000-year dash from the trees to the starship. 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 Whenever you have intelligent life in the presence of large explosions, a safe bet is that the intelligent life is responsible for the large explosions. It may be that there was a war in heaven 60 million years ago.
The last song won't last long.
Yeah, I mean, but like, my goal is like try to do useful things, try to maximize the probability the future is good, make the future exciting, something you look forward to. With Tesla, we're like trying to make things that people love. How many things can you buy that you really love, that really give you joy? So rare, so rare. I wish there were more things. That's what we're trying to do. Just make things that somebody loves. Like, what are the set of things that can be done to make the future better? I think that a future where we are a spacefaring civilization out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. Makes me want that future. The things, there need to be things that make you look forward to waking up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you look forward to the day, forward to the future. A future where we are a spacefaring civilization and out there among the stars, I think that's very exciting. That is a thing we want. Whereas if you knew we would not be a spacefaring civilization but forever confined to Earth, this would not be a good future. That would be very sad. No, I just think there are two futures, and one future is we're out there among the stars, and the things we read about and see in science fiction movies, the good ones are true. We're at these starships, and we're going to see what other planets are like, and we're a multi-planet species, and the scope and scale of consciousness is expanded across many civilizations and many planets and many star systems. This is a great future. This is a wonderful thing to me. And that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. It makes me want that future. Life has to be more than about solving problems. If all that life is about is solving problems, why bother getting up in the morning? There have to be things that make you proud to be a member of humanity. Only a handful of people went to the moon. And yet, we all went to the moon. We went with them. Carelessly. Shared in that adventure. I don't think anyone would say that it was a bad idea. That was great. More of those things. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. Out there among the stars, this is very exciting. Out there among the stars, that's what we should strive for. This makes me look forward to the future. It makes me want that future.
Out there among the stars. up there among the stars. Meaningwave live, baby. Make some noise for yourself. Make some noise for all of our speakers. All of our powerful, powerful speakers. Elon Musk, Terence McKenna, David Goggins, David Foster Wallace, Joseph Campbell, Jordan Peterson, Marcus Aurelius, Alan Watts, Gary Vaynerchuk, Danica XIX, Tom Waits. Make some noise for Diverting Tales, who compiled that selection. Your boy Diverting Tales, he looks after the Meaningwave Instagram and the Meaningwave Twitter. He put together that selection. Shouts out to him. You know, shouts out to all you guys who are locked in. What a mighty mob. You know, what a mighty meaning mob. Wave Nation! Yeah! Gang! Yeah, I gotta shout out everyone who's supporting. Everyone who's supporting the wave. Helping us keep this wave rolling across the universe, yeah. Shouts out to Macastine. Shouts out to Darby Childress. Shouts out to Dandy, up in the place to be. And Nicholas Lepar. Yo, says thank you to Don for producing a bit of heaven here on earth. We all believe in the existence of potential, and you have manifested that potential with Meaningwave. That potential manifests within us. Yeah, Michael Robots, thank you. And Diminished 7, thank you. And One Slick Mama, yeah. One Slick Mama, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah. Vibe regulation. Then vibes got regulated. Yes, they did. Shouts out to the crew. Shouts out to Cyplex. 9242 says thanks to the Don. You bring joy to my life. Thank you, Nicholas Lepar. Says thank you, brother. This is just what we needed. This was just what we needed. Yes, it was. Well, that's a wonderful thing to read on my screen. Scrolling down on my screen, Shouts out to the whole damn crew. Cindy Bailey, that includes you. Bob Kashi, that also means you. And Andrew Comarami, and a pop 414. And YouTube hero Alex, and Milkman Dan Awesome. Said thank you, Diverting Tales. That's right, that's right, that's right. Val Venus joining the retrograde, baby. Val Venus joining the retrograde, baby. Having a retrograde, baby. Or at least taking part in making a retrograde baby tonight. Make some retrograde babies tonight. Let's make some retrograde babies tonight. Yeah, yeah, go back to your person and make some retrograde babies tonight. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Whatever, Sheila D613 in the place to be. Says that was an amazing set. Thank you, Akira. Thank you, Sheila D. Thank you, Paolo, Cleophas, Mike, Bessers, Strong, 28, Wave Nation, Milkman Dan, out. Dan Frank, out. All of the gang, out. All of the gang, out. All of the gang, ow. Yo, I don't need these anymore. It was bright as hell earlier. I had the sun directly in my face. And I kind of liked it. I felt like it was giving me powers. But eventually I had to put sunglasses on because I couldn't see shit, baby. Shouts out if you're listening on the podcast. Shouts out if you're locked in across space and time. Shouts out if you're in another dimension. Shouts out if you've been involved in some certain kind of ascension and yet you're still here listening to this. That's great. That's great. Shouts out to you all. Shouts out if you're listening to this in Starship. You know, if you're in the Starship listening to this. Shouts out to me on the, on the DJ deck of Starship. Getting it down. What up, Val Venus? Says, Akira, God bless you for evolving my hips and giving me something. It's a bump. In the Civic, yeah. Bumping in the Civic, yeah. Bumping in the Civic, yeah. Retrograde babies, making retrograde babies in the back of the Civic, yeah. Yo, Small in Australia says the epic shadow in the background was spoopy. Yo, shouts out. Don't you be dissing my shadow. That's my shadow. Bap, bap. Yo, that was Meaningwave Live on the Meaning Stream, number 85. We are staying alive like Morris Gibb and them boys. You know the vibes. I'm gonna get out of here now. Happy birthday, Scott Adams. Happy birthday if it's your birthday. Thank you for being here. I'd like to give a shout out to the ancestors like we always do this time. Thank you to the ancestors. Did I just get a flipping... Look, my face is all red, apart from the sunglasses bit. Did I just get sunburn? Stood here DJing from window that came through... From sunlight that came through a window. What the hell, baby? I told you, man, don't mess with that sun. That sun, he could never be... what's an acceptable word for pussy these days? I only say that because there's this song I played on the breakfast show this morning. One of my favorite songs is called The Sun. It's a Ghostface Killer joint. And he goes, the sun could never be pussy. He always come up. He'll stand right there even if you put your gun up. I love Ghostface for that. Love Ghostface for that one. Oh, and hey, why not shout out Raekwon the Chef one time.
Yo, check it out. It's Raekwon the Chef rocking with Akira the Dawn, you heard? You know what it is, man. All real shit. Rate 100.
Yeah, shouts out to Raekwon the Chef. Shouts out to all of you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. PST on TWITCH. That's Twitch. If you can't spell. Yeah, we'll be over there and we'll be back here tomorrow night, We'll be back here tomorrow night with that extra vibe regulation, because you got to get the extra vibe regulation on a Tuesday. Yeah, you do, You do, don't you do. Damn, baby. All right. Bless up. Let me see if Hercules wants to do it by 5. Hercules! He's busy. He's busy. Did they really just say he's busy? How could he be busy? He's 7. What do 7-year-olds get busy with? My goodness. He is a busy 7-year-old, to be fair. He got a lot going on. You know what I mean? He's shaping the future. You know what I mean? He got a lot to do. He got the whole world on his damn shoulders. I can't believe I got sunburnt during a DJing. What the hell? From that white sun.
Perfect.
Yo, I'm gonna do an international by 5 with my peeps though. A 3, a 2, a 1. Goodbye. Love you guys. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? No one, man. I'm just a humble beat farmer.